So now that we've had that fun little discussion about Hitler's ailments, after the war, devastated by the children that he could not save, Nicholas Winton kept all of this a secret for 50 years.
Why? How? Like,
he would later go to work
killed.
after the war. He would go to work for the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, which was established in 1944, and its main goal was to aid in post-World War II reconstruction of Europe. There he would meet his future wife, Greta Yelstrup.
Greta.
They would marry in 1948, and together they would have 3 children. Their firstborn was a son named Nicholas Jr., and then a daughter that they named after his mother, Barbara. Their third son, Robin, would be born with Down syndrome. At the time, it was common for parents to place children with limited abilities into group homes, but Nicholas and Greta insisted on having Robin home with them. Sadly, the day before his 6th birthday, Robin would pass away from meningitis, which is unrelated to the Down syndrome. But this affected Nicholas deeply, and he would organize a support group, which would become a local charity that helped to support people with learning disabilities. And it's still around today.
Do you ever, this is probably the closest I think I get to a different, like a higher power or something that's untangible, is people of kids with special needs. And I do feel that they are chosen.
My nephew has Down syndrome. And he is fucking one of the cutest kids I've ever seen in my entire life. So my nephew is on my husband's side, so it's his brother's son. And then Haley, my sister, has her daughter Peyton. And so Pei is a year younger than Mateus. And when Jake had his first communion, Mateus, okay, we have a million pictures of these 2 kids. And Mateus is like, as soon as he saw Peyton, he's like, hello. Right? And he's wearing his little suit and everything. And he like goes up and he like puts his arm around her. Like he was literally taken by her from the, he was pitching a fit when they came into the restaurant. And as soon as he saw Peyton, he's like, oh, sorry.
Hello. What
are you doing over
like
there?
A record scratched
and
in the
Kay
diner?
was even like, she was, there's pictures that we have of her. Like, she was like, what is
coquettish.
This man of mystery? No, he's, and you know, his parents do obviously have to take him through. There's different hurdles, but he's, for the most part, like he's fucking headstrong as hell. Like if this kid wants to do something, there's no, like you're not talking him down from it. But I don't know. I just, you know, I think that Down syndrome people have beautiful capabilities, and they also love fiercely a lot more than like we. I think, you know, people that don't have Down syndrome, there's like blockers that stop us from just loving like unconditionally, and they don't have those blockers, which
I carry a lot of judgment, and I don't think they do.
They do not. No. Mateus would judge you for judging.
Yeah, that's right.
But no, he wouldn't. So it wouldn't be until 1988 in Maidenhead, England, when his wife Greta found a detailed scrapbook in their attic.
Oh, wow. Wow.
The scrapbook contained pictures, names, parents' information for multiple children. Greta would approach her husband, and that was when he would explain to her everything that he had done and how he had saved 669 mostly Jewish children from the Nazis.
Look, I think if you have saved one life, you should be able to brag about that for the rest of like, and I'm not taking anything away, but I think like the fact that he did that, I don't think I would do that and not seek out some sort of.
And he didn't. And it was because of that 9th train.
Yeah.
Because that 9th train with 250 children that were supposed to come over that he couldn't save destroyed him.
Wow.
But he just never fucking talked about it. They were old.
Yeah.
And like, she was like, what the heck is this? Could you imagine that though? Like
keeping all that in, all that pain, let alone the joy and elation
the pain
of saving 669. You know, you get 669 great comments. You get one negative one. Which one do we talk about
exactly
and focus
right.
on?
So she would convince him that this was an important piece of history and that it needed to be in the right hands. She would make the short trip from London to London from there. She was like, what are you doing here? Why are we sitting on this?
I think I laugh a lot when I'm
gonna cry.
Yeah, I feel like those emotions go pretty close in my head.
Yeah, or uncomfortable too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she would make the short trip from London to London from their home in Maidenhead to see about donating the scrapbook to somebody who had the ability to preserve it while also allowing the story of these 669 children to be told. Shockingly, due to the heavy nature of this scrapbook, Greta was having a hard time finding somebody who wanted to take it. That was until, oh my God, Matt, this story went fucking haywire for me.
It'd be heavy two ways as well, right? It'd be heavy with the material, but also there's a lot of material in there, like the weight of it.
Right.
Also the gravity.
And you have to have things like this in like a climate controlled, like, you know, it can't be exposed to that much.
Glove, yes, you got to tear open the pages with the tongs. Yeah, sure.
But I got to tell you, before we get into this, that this story went fucking haywire for me because it went down a path that I did not expect it to go down. And I had to include it. So you'll see what I'm talking about in a second.
All right.
So that was until she met French-born Holocaust researcher Elizabeth Maxwell, who went by Betty. Her husband, Robert, was a Czechoslovakian-born British Army captain. They would marry in 1945 and put a pin in this couple for a second because I have to revisit it.
A pin in this couple. All right.
So it would be Betty who would bring the story of Nicholas and the 669 children to light. After this, Nicholas would receive an invite to be on the BBC That's Life. This was a satirical daytime news program that was mostly lighthearted. It was a lot like what we would have like our late night shows nowadays.
Like a Deanie Petty?
And so at first, like his wife was kind of like, when he got the invitation, she's like, it's like kind of like a comedy show. Like it would be weird. So she didn't join him. It was kind of like, it was a goofy show, really. He would accept the invite, not really knowing what his true purpose was going to be on the show. When he arrived, he was surprised to find himself sitting in the audience. While there, the show's host, Esther Ratzin, had his scrapbook, and she would go through all of the pictures and different parts of the book, including the blank pages at the end that were intended for the children on the 9th train, who would never make it to their destination. But she would land on a picture of a little girl named Vera Dermont, who had married now and went by Vera Gissink. And to his surprise, Esther would then address the woman sitting right beside him as Vera. They would hug while he cried. He was, he had his pocket square, and he would be dabbing his eyes. There would be more children in the audience that would stand up. And although they had not known for their entire lives who the man was that had saved them, they did know how they had been saved. And now they were able to put a face to their story. After this very emotional episode aired, That's Life would receive communications from dozens of people who had been saved by Nicholas Winton, by his, kinder transport, and were wanting to meet him. They would have Nicholas back on another episode of the show. This time, his wife, Greta, would attend with him. And he would sit in the same seat. And when asked if anyone in the audience owes their life to Nicholas, all of the members of the audience would stand up, over 24 people. And Esther, the host, would say that she had, she was with this show for decades. And this was the only time in her career with That's Life that she actually had to stop filming briefly when she saw this because of the overwhelming emotional response that it gave to her.
Unreal. What a visual too that is, eh?
Yeah. Oof. In 2003, during the New Year's honors, Nicholas would be knighted by Queen Elizabeth II
oh, no shit.
for his services to humanity. For his 100th birthday,
oh, now you're talking.
Nicholas would be flown above the Waltham Airfield in Berkshire, England. This is where a civilian-operated organization whose mission it was to be able to fly medical supplies, mail, and people during the war until they were needed to join and help in with the Royal Air Force. That's where, they started their group. The pilot that would have the honor of flying Nicholas was the daughter of one of the men that he had rescued. Nicholas would die in his sleep from cardiac arrest at the age of 106 years old.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm not a doctor, but dying in one's sleep sounds like a much more peaceful way to go than being jacked up on meth and farting nonstop while being wildly paranoid and living 20 feet underground.
Man.
And that's the story of Nicholas Winton, this remarkable human who saved all of these children, and thousands more were able to be born because of him. And although, in my opinion, no one life is more important than another, of those directly saved by him. One of the documentaries that I watched was narrated by a child that he saved named Joe Schlesinger, who was a Canadian journalist and author. The documentary that I got, that Nicholas was a part of, was called Children Saved from the Nazis, the story of Sir Nicholas Winton. There were also amongst them mathematicians, politicians, filmmakers, poets, rabbis, architects, and even the woman that sat beside him during his first visit to That's Life, Vera. She was a writer and translator. One of the 3 books that she wrote in 2002 was called Nicholas Winton, The Power of Good. And as much as I would love to just end this right here, and I debated on just leaving it, but I think that, you know, this case really shows, first of all, what a small world it really is, because I saw this nowhere else in my research until the very, very end. And it wasn't until I was just putting the final touches on my script that I learned about it. So remember I told you to put a pin in Elizabeth and Robert Maxwell?
Mm-hmm.
Let's pause the video too.